Hello everyone. If you're here, we're probably in the FAtiMA-Toolkit.eu website. And the point of this video is because I think many people prefer to have a presentation or some sort of video instead of just reading about what is FAtiMA-Toolkit. And this presentation and me recording it is some type of guide to help you understand what it is. And hopefully this is a short video and it's quite it has all the information that you need. So FAtiMA-Toolkit is a tool designed to facilitate the creation of characters, virtual robotic with social and emotional intelligence. And while you will see this phrase a lot in this website, essentially the idea is shown here in this diagram. You have an integrated authoring tool where you can create intelligent characters and scenarios, and then you can apply this to a game or to an application that you might want. Right? And on a more lower level case, FAtiMA, essentially we have this user interface called FAtiMA-Toolkit, and this user interface creates JSON files. And in the user interface, you can create your story and you can create your characters. And then these are exported into JSON files. These JSON files, you can pick them up and then you can put it on your Unity project, on your Unreal project, and also adds the DLL library that contains FAtiMA's library, essentially. So functions that you might want to use. For instance, if I want to know what type of emotions is my character feeling, that's one example. And then using these JSON files, DLL library, and your development agent with your characters within your game, within your application, you can then reach the end product, which is, my face is in the way, but essentially is an emotionally intelligent application. Right, this makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about the why we're doing this. This is in a more academia and serious games lens. So if you're not doing that, then that's fine. But for instance, we like to use these two use cases. The first one on the left is virtual reality for the training of children within the high functioning autism spectrum. And the idea behind it is that you can create an experience where children can learn how to socially behave. And the characters which these children interact with are intelligent virtual characters that can be created using FAtiMA-Toolkit. On the right, you can see a word that's a virtual job interview for high anxiety populations. So many times people with high anxiety tend to not perform well in job interviews. And this is somewhat of a way to train this and to train yourself to behave within a high pressure scenario, right? And in both of these cases, you have intelligent agents that need to interact with humans. And this tool, what this tool does is allows us to create this scenario in hopefully easy way. So FAtiMA was the first architecture. The original architecture was created in 2005, as you will see in the publications if you want. But the main ideas behind FAtiMA-Toolkit, which is part of the RAGE initiative or the RAGE project for Horizon 2020, is number one, to facilitate the authoring process, because in many ways creating intelligent virtual agents is not easy, particularly for people outside of the field. And we facilitate this authoring process by number one, creating these tools, and number two, making sure that the language is somewhat similar to what a programming language would be. Second, we use a library-based design to empower the developers, and so every component is built as a DLL library, so developers are free to use them in their code as they see fit. Third, we want this content to be easy to create, change, and particularly being reutilizable. I hope I pronounced that correctly, both the characters and the scenarios. And finally, the great thing about this is that it's completely open source, so it's for free and you can check it out in its GitHub page, and it's constantly being updated. Not constantly, it's being updated. I'm working on it. All right. So its key features are, number one, its character-centric design, which means that the narrative emerges from how the player and the agent interact with each other in accordance to their given narrative roles. This means that the tool is designed to to create emergent applications where the characters are all independent and the drama surges from that. Of course, you can also have a narrative arc that you can implement. It's just the way the tool is designed. A second, it uses a rule-based system motivated from the desire to approach the language of the intelligent agent field to the ones used by programmers. Third, its explicit dialogue structure is a combination of dialogue trees and dialogue pools, much used in the game development field. And finally, its modular approach means that despite its complexity, developers can simply use the components they need. So if you just want the character to be able to react emotionally to something, you can have that. If you want a character that is able to create decisions, you can have that. And you can add like these different levels of complexity to your character, which is neat. All right. So here, hopefully, you will find all information regarding FAtiMA-Toolkit, getting started guide, tutorials, training materials, demos, publications, a showcase. So essentially, if you want to use FAtiMA, this is the place to start. And I think there's a lot of work put into these tutorials, and hopefully you'll learn. And this is one of the showcases. Essentially, is this is a game. I don't think you'll have sound, but essentially, PlayGen UK has been developing a video game where the player takes on the role of a customer service representative on a space part manufacturer, and essentially you have to talk with a lot of different customers and try to figure out what they want, and all of these customers were made using FAtiMA-Toolkit. A more recent showcase or example or use case is the virtual reality demo, which essentially we designed this experience in collaboration with the Portuguese School of Police Officers. And one of the objectives of this scenario is to teach trainees to interact and interview a suspect in a safe and repeatable environment. This is called a social skills training scenario, and it could also be called a serious game. But essentially, this is all available online, and you can check out their code, and you can learn how to implement these FAtiMA functions. Essentially, because the suspect that you see here, the objective is to interrogate him and to find out if he's telling the truth or not. Ideally, it would be played in a virtual reality scenario, in a virtual reality setting, but here we are showing in a simple computer scenario. We also did a study on that. And essentially, the suspect is an intelligent virtual agent, and it was authored by us using FAtiMA-Toolkit. So it has a ton of dialogue and a ton of different choices. And it is designed to interact with participants and with interviewees in a believable manner. All right. And so that about sums it up regarding FAtiMA. This is a very brief overview of what FAtiMA is. You can learn more about it in all of these. Can I say it? Tabs, I guess. And you can also, if you have any doubts about how this works, or if you're having trouble, or if you just want to inquiry about how to use this, or just like a brief probe on that, you can reach me at this email. And so thank you for watching. And that's it. Thanks.